Hi everybody, welcome to the OAG RC. I'm Craig, and amongst the carnage of the Ultima build at the back starts season 2023 of the Orchard Raceway, and these two are our first matchup. It is the awesome Rising Fighter against the DT03. Who is going to come out on top? Let me take you through these two awesome, brilliant RCs. So our Rising Fighter is not stock. It has bearings. It's rocking a torque-tuned motor in there. It has oil-filled shocks front and rear. And also has a slightly different position for the rear shocks to try and reduce the height of the rear end on this somewhat against the stock one. This one goes quite well. I'm quite pleased with it. I've also changed the steering inside there for sort of regular Tamiya adjustables rather than the flimsy steering column that comes with this particular model. And then the mean looking DT03. This one is pretty much got some good hop ups. It's got the carbon shocks at the front. It's got adjustables. It's got CVAs. It's got carbon at the back. It's got a brushless 17.5 turn Tamiya motor in there. It's got a aluminium servo mount. This thing has been hopped up a little bit and should be a pretty good contender. I think out of these two, my money would be on the DT03. So let's see how we get on out on the track. And we're off. The very first lap on the Orchard Raceway for season 2023 by the Rising Fighter. Not a bad first lap, trying to find the consistency of the car. This track is really bouncy, really, as you can see, kicks that rear suspension all over the place as we crash into the middle section there. It's an old school track. I'd left it feeling quite bumpy and undulated this year, just to try and mix it up really. I see all these smooth tracks, lots of prep work gone in. I don't have the time for that here at the OAG, so we get what we get. Now I'm trying not to do too many practice runs with the car. We give 1 or 2 laps before we get going just to warm up, feel out the different suspension travel or different handling characteristics of the car, and then we just get stuck into it. 2-minute session. How many laps can we do? What was the fastest lap time? And more importantly, how neat are all the laps together? What's the standard deviation? That's what these cars are going to be judged on this year. So the Rising Fighter almost got stuck there. If the car gets stuck, flips over, it's a DNF. And if it's a DNF, then you take the average of however many laps it managed to get in. So you still possibly could get the fastest lap. And if those laps are consistent, it might also win the standard deviation despite not clearing out all of its lap times. But you really want to be running the full 2 minutes and get the most consistent time that you can do. Rising Fighter's still going reasonably well here. This is a good opening. So, as I speak, the car gets flipped over. And that's always the danger with this model, is it sits quite high. Despite my improvements or attempted improvements to try and improve the handling of this, at the end of the day, and again, we've gone, look, it is what it is. It is a hopper. It will always be a hopper. But this one's putting in some reasonable laps, apart from those crashes and flips. It's not doing a bad effort here out the track. And here we go, we're off with the DT03. Now this one understeers quite a bit, so you've got to be really careful when going into the tighter turns. Although that's a good first lap, straight off the bat, we've got one out here. Oh, there we go, exactly what I was talking about. I can't get the front end in. If you're on the power at all, it just doesn't seem to turn in. This one's got quite a bit of weighting on the front as well, so I'm wondering whether I'm operating on some staggers here. I'm wondering whether that's not really helping it out at all. Maybe I should have gone for some grooved tyres in the front. But still, we're starting to find... Where have I gone? There we go. Again, third lap running. Straight into that bit of piping there on Creation Corner. Really struggling to get the front end round that corner neatly. And again, this lap as well, had to take it wide. Yeah, it's wrong tyres, I think, for the track. But we're here, we've got to keep pushing. Let's see what lap time we can get out of it. It's going to be difficult. Although last season, you know, this struggled on the last finale run, and it just posted that one lap. It is possible that it can produce a lap winning time, but it's just so inconsistent. Again, oh, I'm caught up on the side. Is it beached? Am I stuck? Oh, well, that's one way of getting out of the problem. We've got to go all the way back around again. That's certainly going to cost the standard deviation a little bit, I think. When it's up to speed, though, it really does move. Here we go. This is looking good. Oh, just caught it again. Okay, we got time for one more lap? No, we're done. So there we have it. The Rising Fighter takes the victory. Fastest lap around the track, 7.8 seconds. So that's currently the lap record, believe it or not. It handled more predictably than the DT03 did. Now, I do wonder whether the DT03 had a bit of a problem, because when I was putting it back on the shelf and it did its sorry or shame back to the top shelf, I noticed that the rear wheels weren't spinning in the same way that they were when I pulled it down. So I think something went wrong in the drivetrain, to be honest, which might have hindered its progress, but it is what it is. And this is now ready to progress on the Orchard Raceway. I think the understeering on the DT03 didn't help. This doesn't understeer, turns in quite nicely. This bounces around lots and lots and lots. So I'm not entirely sure it's going to go much faster than that 7.8 that it posted. But you never know. What it is quite robust. I never felt at any point like this is going to break, even though I was rolling it over, you know, smashing the impacts on the front bumper bar. It recovered reasonably well. So it's in the game. It's going through to the quarterfinals. Our first quarterfinalist, it will be in the round, in the draw when we get to that point. And for those eagle-eyed viewers in the back, the Kyosho Ultima has now got a body on it. Right, back to the action. Next up, we've got the Mad Bull and the Grasshopper. I will run a poll next week at some point and find out what you guys think of that one. Until then, whatever you do, make sure you have some good old-fashioned fun. Thanks for watching, everyone. See you soon.